Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor Louis Mishpa Saim Yakashom Labas Yitzchok. We're holding in Avoda Zara Daf Dalet. We're starting in the first wide line in the page because that the sugi ended over there. The first wide line is it starts with the word Chaim, but we're starting the third word of Chino Bar Popo. Rav Chino Bar Popo Rabbi. So here we had a question. Ksiv Shaddai Loi Mitzanu Sagi Koyach. So Hashem, and here specifically the word Shaka is the word used because Shaka means Shomer L'Lumidai. It's like, a limitation. Loi Mitzanu Sagi Koyach is not so powerful. We didn't see its full power. Kavyoch. Ksiv on the other hand, we see it says Godel Adonai V'Rav Koyach. There's a lot of Koyach by Gidol Kadosh Baruch Hu. V'Chtiv Yimich Hashem Nedor B'Koyach. Again, a lot of Koyach. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu appear with a lot of koyach or not with a lot of koyach? It's more like kasha. Kan b'shas adin, kan b'shas milchama. Very appropriate today. And shas adin, Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't bring his full power because then nobody will be able to withstand his din. But milchama, when he's in war against his enemies, then he brings the full koyach. What a question. Ksiv chemo ainli. When it says Kadosh Baruch Hu says I have no anger. V'chtiv no yekir Hashem bal chemo. Is there chemo? Is there chemo? No chemo. Like Kasha, can be strong, can be over the Kachon. By Yisrael, not Chemo. By Goyim, there's Chemo. Tosis already points out over here to the Gemara in Nedarim. The Gemara there in Nedarim has a question that the Moshe Rabbeinu killed the Chemo. So is there Chet? He says it's associated with that Gemara. So the Pasuk says, the Lush of the Pasuk, that same Pasuk that we mentioned before, Chemo Ainli, it says, Chemo Ainli, Mi Tineni Shemir v'shayis v'milchama. So the way darshan is mitneni shalonish bati. Shmuel Gibel said, I would love, I did a shvur that I won't be so angry, but I would like to have the chemo, so to speak. Here shemir v'shayis, and then I'll be able to be much stronger in the milchama. Shmuel says, in that day I would like to destroy all the goyim. If a kesh for me, I'm going to do one from whom? I'm going to check in their safer zichur ma'asev, says Rashi. I'll check the records. If they have a schus, they will be redeemed. So what's similar over here? The fact that he's looking for. He needs he's requesting it. That's the lashon of the pasuk. So he doubts like this. When I'm judging Am Yisrael, I'm not judging them like the goyim. Which means I will destroy them completely. Which means like the chicken, eats very small pieces, like a small nipping that the chicken has. Even if the mitzvahs are very small, like the nipping of the chicken, I'll still add it to a big cheshbon. The pido refers to over here the fact that the lotion of the chicken eating and nibbling on the food. The pshat here is like Yeshua refers to when they dive into me, I will help them out. What does it mean? Shmuel says, I'm taking away the money of Am Yisrael. You know I'm taking away their money? You know why they're losing money? For them to have a reward. Then they have kindness against Hakadosh. Why take my money away? What does it mean? I'll give them Yisur in this world. Why? They'll have a lot of power. They'll get a lot of reward. And they're going to think back at me. In other words, every time Am Yisrael, a person Am Yisrael is suffering, is a reason for it, and it's all for his own good. And sometimes we don't realize that. Says so Avo told the meaning, the meaning, the quote for him, he told him that Rav Safra is a very big person. So for 13 years, they didn't take taxes for him. because Avoda said he's such a poor person, they needed the access from Rav Safra. One day they find him. They told him, I only know you from all Mishpachos. In other words, you are my favorite. That's why I will punish you. Someone who has sisyo, Rashi brings two explanations. First explanation is sisyo means anger. Someone who has anger, he puts it on the one he loves. So Hakadosh says, I love you from all the nations, therefore I'm going to punish you. What does that mean? He didn't answer. So they put a sudra on his neck and they basically like choked him. They tortured him a little bit. Also, Avoda says, fine, why are you causing him suffering? Didn't he tell us he's a big person? He doesn't know to explain this puzzle. Tell me, I'll tell you. Why? Sorry, before that. I say he's a big person. Tanoi means a Mishnah. He knows Mishnah, he knows Gemara, he knows Talmud very well. But in Psukim, he's not so bucky. So why you know the Psukim better than him? I know the Shekachinin Kabaychun, we are always surrounded with you, and you ask questions in the Psukim, we make sure to learn the Psukim well so we're able to answer you. But they're not so mad in the Psukim. So anyway, so you to give us the explanation, what does it mean in the Pasuk? Give you a mashal. Person he's a lender to two people. Two people owe money. One he loves, one he hates. The one he loves, he goes a little bit every single month, takes a little bit of money, take a little $100, another $100, until it adds up to pay the debt. But when he hates, he goes in one stack one time, takes all the money and forecloses on his property. So that's what the Gemara says over here. That's Pshat. The says, because I love you, I am punishing you. I'm punishing you so you won't have such a big debt in your records. This is really the whole mahalach of this ummah that we start till now. Baruch Hu is punishing Am Yisrael is an act of love, not an act of hate. It's not appropriate for you to kill tzaddik with Rosh. It's not kedusha. It's more of a loy. Is not the way Hakadosh Baruch Hu does. It says the tzaddik also dies when Hakadosh Baruch Hu punishes the Rishonim. So well, that's the tzaddik she'einu gom. The tzaddik gomer loy. Tzaddik gomer is different. It says regarding where Hakadosh Baruch Hu was destroying Beis Hamikdash, he told the Malachim to go and start from Mikdashi. What is Mikdashi? Take the big tzaddikim and punish them first. So you see, you do punish the tzaddikim. It says the one also they should have stopped the Rishayim from doing Averis. They didn't, so they were somewhat responsible. Rabbi asked the question. Tzaddik was angry every day. And nobody could stand for his anger. So how can it be that people survive the anger of Hakadosh Baruch Hu? So the more kasha can be yochid, can be tzibur. In other words, there's there is anger. It's klapi the tzibur, and the tzibur can withstand the zam. An individual, Hakadosh Baruch Hu will be angry and he will not be able to stand the zam. He was not angry and yichidim on a daily basis. Says the Gemara, Tana Rabbanon, says the Gemara. There's one thing that we didn't mention before. The Gemara said, Haggadah of Alexandria, that it says that Hakadosh Baruch Hu wanted to kill the Goyim. What was it referring to? So we mentioned, just want to say, to correct something, I said the way Tosfos explains it. The Tosfos goes on to what we said before, that Hakadosh Baruch Hu is looking for schus to kill the Goyim. Rashi explains it goes back to what we said before, the Hakadosh Baruch Hu about Terunya L'Brioso. So he's trying to find a schus not to punish the Goyim if not necessary. Says the Gemara, This is the Gemara, very famous one. We just started now. Part of it we started in Sanhedrin in Daf Kufay. They also Gemara in Brachos. Shmuel was angry every day. How long is his anger? 1 moment. What is the moment? It's a certain portion of an hour. The Girsa Bayah says this number. The Vilna Goyen the Ram Rochebuk and also Vilna other places fixes it. Okay, so the question is a certain portion of a minute. The only one who knew when is that moment is Bilam Moshe. It says by him, for your dad das Elyon. He knew the das of Elyon. Shadas behim to Allah Aviyod. He did not know the das of his animal. Das Elyon Aviyod. He knows the das of Kodesh Baruch Hu. My das behim to Allah Aviyod. What does it mean? He didn't know the das of his behim? So the more being the Chazul Dad when they saw him riding his donkey. I'm really my time so why not riding a horse? My horse is out there in the field. The mule said, I'm your Osei. I'm related to you. I just use you for loading, for carrying. You always rode me. Once in a while, but I don't do it usually. Always. Not only that, I ride you, and the day you ride me, and the night you do issues with me. So he doesn't even know how to answer back to his donkey. He knows das Elyon. In other words, not that he knew the das of Elyon and everything. He knew something about das Elyon. He knew the moment Kishbo was angry. It says, I tell Amos to remember what Balak wanted and what Bilam wanted to do. What are we talking about? I wasn't angry those days. There would not be anybody left at the Girsoyim of Kechamim. In other words, if Kodesh Baruch would be angry, Bilam would be able to extract the anger from the moment of Zam and destroy Am Yisrael. I'm the only carbon the Bilam the Balak. My ekoiv lekavokel, my ezem lezor Mashiach. Kodesh Baruch is not angry. I can't pull any klala from it. So that's the anger of Kodesh Baruch. We spoke about a little Sanhedrin, a little bit of an idea that Bilam has the ability to use the curse and pull from the anger of Kodesh Baruch. Kodesh Baruch is always angry. There's a moment of rega, api midas adin, to bring the midas adin to be shielded in the world in that time. The kama zamoy, I love is a zam rega. The kama rega, it's like saying a word. When we know the rega, how do we know the woman is anger? The chtiv ki rega ba'poi, chayim b'tzon rega be'apoi. One rega is be'apoi. If you say me'apoi, chabiki madrega, hide for 1 moment. Ad Yavarzam. I tell you, Yavarzam, there's one rega, 1 moment. Toysir asked the question, famous Toysir asked, what can he say in 1 rega? Toysir says 2 answers. One answer, he says 1 word, he says Kaleim. Kaleim is Lashon Kilui, destruction. Another answer he says is that he started with that and continued on. And there's a big Yisrael, Lagabe Halachas, of someone who starts davening before the end of time. The end is not Tefillah, and he goes afterwards. That 1 moment, if he starts at the right time, it's good enough. You see, learn from this basis. So, one is angry. In the first 3 hours of the day, when the carboilus, the feather of the chicken becomes white. Is always white. Is always a little red in it. There's no red lines, it's completely white. There was this meme that was really bothering him with questions and driving him crazy. So one day he took a turnaround, who could be carried down, so he put it between the legs of the bed. He was looking at it, so and he says, what I'll do is, when that moment comes, I will curse this person to get him out of my life. Came the moment and he fell asleep. He says, learn from here. It's not their care to do that. Everybody. It's not good for a tzaddik to cause a rasha to be punished. When the Melachim put the heads on their head, the crowns on the heads, and they bow down to the sun, that's what Kodesh Baruch is. So the question, some of the first understanding is coming to argue to say it's not the first 3 hours because that's when the Melachim are still sleeping, is right afterwards. So person should not daven Musaf in the first 3 hours of the day. In the first day of Rosh Hashanah when he's alone. Why? That's the day of the din. That's Rosh Hashanah, day of the din. They're going to push him and take him away. In other words, because we speak in the first 3 hours, there's anger, and Yom Adin and Rosh Hashanah is the day where everything is nifsek. You don't want to be in that situation, so don't daven Musaf where you're davening for the Rahman of Kodesh Baruch Hu, and the first 3 hours a day when the time is on Rosh Hashanah. That's what he says. Now says the Gemara, Yachid Tzibur Nam. What about the Tzibur? The Tzibur nefishus chusim. Tzibur has the biggest chusim. Yachid the Yochid the Tzaf and Amiloi. So what about Shachris? And the Tzibur, the Tzibur the Kamatsu loy kamitri. In other words, when they have the Tzibur davening in Shul Shachris, so the Yochid can join them. Most of usually you don't daven the first 3 hours of a day by Tzibur. So the Yochid should not daven Musaf. We said before the first 3 hours of the day, he's not doing din. Only the next 3 hours he's doing din. We learned yesterday's daf. April, turn it around and say the first 3 hours is din, then 3 hours is toyu. If you may say don't turn it around. Toyu the emes, the emes kinei aval tim kol. The Torah is called emes, and the toyu is din, is emes. You have to go based on the din. There's no leeway over there. Then the loitzi be'emes, because Baruch Hu Yisrael din. Something about the Gemara takes us away from the pastures. When Baruch Hu is learning Torah, that's the more dangerous time, because that's when everything has to be intact, has to be exact. When Baruch Hu is doing din, then you have some concepts of rachmim that you can take away the din. So the Gemara Guf Omar B'Shur B'Lini Ma'adik L'Shanichim Tzavcha Ayom L'Asoysom Ayom L'Asoysom Ashanichim Tzavcha Ayom L'Asoysom. The mitzvahs are done on Olam Hazeh. Hayom la'asoysom lo hayom toschol. You don't take reward in this world. Whatever you do in this world comes to testify in front of Am Yisrael. That's what we saw right away in the base. The Gemara Dashas you do them itzaku. The Eidim are the mitzvahs. Yishmol v'yim remes. The Gemara Dashas you do them itzaku. Yisrael that what the mitzvahs come and testify. That they're going to say emes. The mitzvah also do in this world come and hit the goyim in Olam Haba on their face. It's your chochem being in front of the amim. Neged amim le'nemar elanei amim melamid sheboy is the surface of the chovim apnei. So it's not just that they see it, but it mamish hits them. Okay, that's the kuda, and the truth is we should end this daf right over here and continue from here in the next daf.